As in the words of Kamala Harris, as Oprah Winfrey would say, more unites us than divides us. Let's talk about it on Azimuth Podcast. I'm Kimberly McNabb, and with me is my husband, Barrett McNabb.
Thanks, Kimberly. I'd say whether you're an average Democrat or diehard MAGA, we can agree on one thing. Taxes suck. Yet the Democrat candidate, Harris, just received the endorsement by the IRS agent union. I mean, come on. The union president says she supports the issues that matter most to our members. Of course they do. She supported the Inflation Reduction Act, which enabled the IRS to hire 87,000 more IRS agents. I just want to make sure you understand that. It's been in the news, but I want you to hear the number again. 87,000 more IRS agents. So the Biden administration claimed that this would not increase the audits of those making less than $400,000 a year. But the government never lies, right?
Well, yeah, let's go there. Per the Heritage Foundation, the Treasury Inspector General admitted that the Treasury would not be able to accurately distinguish whether many taxpayers are above or below the $400,000 threshold. The IRS claims it needs to have the agility to target anyone. As of last summer, 63% of new audits targeted those earning less than $200,000, while 80% involved individuals making less than $1 million. Now, the Government Accountability Office says that the audits of lower income tax returns produce more bang for their buck, as in audit hours.
Yeah, a Harris presidency would be estimated to lead to $5 trillion of tax increases over the next decade. Combined with a tax on unrealized gains, the IRS would have plenty of job security. And that's just been an absolute hot button issue, is to have to pay taxes on something that you have not sold yet.
Yes, and that doesn't just affect the elite. I mean, many people have a house. Many people have 401k accounts.
Right.
Coming for those too.
People have baseball cards that are worth a lot of money.
Yeah, where do you draw the line?
Yeah, I mean, where do you draw the line? People have comic books that have held on for a long period of time, and that's increased in value. So people have artwork and paintings and things like that. People have cars that, are old-time cars that are appreciating in value, and all of those could be on the table.
Absolutely.
Well, her VP pick, Walz, would double down on the IRS's efforts. While he was in Congress, Walz voted in support of a bill that would impose a big energy tax increase as well. And all of this seems kind of funny because this is promise of more work and job security for these IRS agents is actually kicking and screaming about having to return to the office with their current workload. So, this remote work thing, we love hanging out and robbing people of their hard-earned money from the comfort of our couch.
We just don't want to commute to do it.
We just don't want to commute to do it.
Well, these increased taxes and audits are just more attacks by the Democrats on the middle class. The upper class is being disproportionately affected. And there is a realignment around class lines to where the elites have become the Democratic base.
Go figure. Go figure.
And who are the loudest Democrat endorsers? Billionaires like Oprah Winfrey. Goldman Sachs endorses her, and now the IRS tax union. And if you want further proof of the realignment around class lines, the UAW isn't even fully composed of the middle class. I mean, you're thinking, oh, United Autos workers? No, they're not 100% auto workers. The union realized that a majority of them are Trump supporters. So now a quarter, yes, 25% of UAW, United Autos Workers Union, is composed of people working at universities.
This is absolutely crazy. But the Democrat Party is out of touch when even MSNBC says their
MSM as in mental, SNBC
says their party is presenting out of touch. And so here's a quick clip.
When we're looking at this circumspectly, when we're talking about battleground states and talking to working everyday Americans utilizing a billionaire who's not dealing with the cost of inflation, with stagnant wages, with stagnant industries, is really just out of touch. And I think that's what he really meant to say, is that hiding behind Hollywood as opposed to really just talking about the policies of your administration may not be working specifically in battleground states.
So she was referring to Trump commenting on Oprah Winfrey talking with Kamala Harris.
Yeah, I mean, so here she is. Oprah Winfrey's a billionaire, and she is not feeling a single thing. The cost of baby formula doesn't apply to her. The cost of eggs, milk doesn't apply to her. She eats all those things, and it's a blip on her grocery budget. I mean, she has a staff that does all her groceries for her anyway. So of course it's easy to say, hey, let's get this thing done and get Kamala elected and get her over this hump. But the thing is she's not feeling the pain of the real Americans, the real people that are the working class Americans. And that's who this IRS is going to hit the most, especially since that also includes small businesses, so sole proprietorships, LLCs, where the vast majority of working Americans in the United States, the biggest job growth is in small business. It's not the 3Ms, it's not Coca-Cola, it's not Amazon. The biggest job growth is coming from these small businesses that are approximately around that 400,000 dollar mark, and it's going to be rough on those. And so what happens? People hire less because they have to deal with the IRS, and so it's not just rich people that's going on; they're going after institutions as well.
I think also it's easier to go after lower income people because they don't have the money to pay expensive accountants and lawyers, and they don't have the time or the money to deal with IRS agents. And I think the IRS can recognize that they're going to get less fight out of lower income people.
Yeah, I mean, how do you do it? Hey, you owe us this amount of money. Well, let me go get an attorney that's going to cost me $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in order to fight you, and obviously that's just not going to work. Now, the budget that was in the Inflation Reduction Act, which had nothing to do with reducing inflation, we've said this before, it's just the truth. It had nothing to do with reducing inflation.
I remember when it first came out, I just skimmed it for about 90 seconds. I'm like, I am seeing no keywords about the economy, policy, unregulating things. It's just energy this, energy that, green this, windmill, solar, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it was all that, but it had that $80 billion in order to increase those IRS agents over the next 10 years. Now, the newest budget that the Harris-Biden administration has increased that again to hire even more IRS agents, and they're looking at $100 billion, which is 5 times their budget over a period of 10 years. And so they're just setting the conditions to be able to have those people out there doing the audits. And one of the things that Trump wants to do is he wants to make it easier for federal employees to be reclassified and to be able to cut jobs and get rid of some of this red tape. And the Harris-Biden administration is trying to do legislation that would prevent any of federal employees from losing their jobs and to have them kind of locked in. So if this tug of war fails, then you're going to have this IRS plethora of agents on a permanent basis. It's going to be hard to get rid of them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we saw this. You need to do your own research, but we're here to give you the facts that, if there's something that makes you go, to have the IRS union endorsing Kamala Harris, get ready for you to be taxed to death. That's just what's going to happen. I mean, they always say the two constants in life are death and taxes. Well, I think the Harris-Biden administration is going to try and combine them.
Absolutely.
So thanks for tuning in to Azimuth Podcast. Please stay tuned after these messages.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy our show with all the stories we share, we would love your support.
And it's as easy as clicking that subscribe or follow button. This will ensure you never miss an episode and keeps us bringing you these important stories. Your support makes a huge difference. Thank you so much for being part of our podcast family.
Thanks, and keep tuning in.